Hi everybody, here's a quick video to show you how to take through Design Space this new SVG to make a little gift box for two mini wine bottles. These are the little wine bottles that are 187 millilitres. The full dimensions will be given in the Etsy listing linked below. This was a request which I made as a custom file for somebody, but I am going to be selling it on the Etsy shop as well. So it's two little bottles side by side. There's an insert top and bottom to hold them really securely in place so they can't rattle around or touch each other. That's what the box looks like closed. You can make it from 2 sheets of 12 by 12 using the standard mat and then just a small piece of acetate or PVC sheet to make the window. That's what the top insert looks like. From the top, it's like a very slim box that you make, which just slots over the necks of the wine bottles. Works really well to keep them securely in place. You can see the other side of it there, and there the bottles are inside the box, sitting in that base insert, which you can see better there. Okay, so let's get into Design Space, bring it in and show how to cut it. There it is. Right, so it comes into Design Space looking exactly like this, and there's a reason I've laid it out like this, and we'll get to that in a second. But as usual, your first job when you bring in any multi-part cut file SVG that has score lines, you need to convert the lines that come in as cuts, which we actually want to be scores. We can't set them to come in as scores ready-made. With my SVGs, they always live in that first subgroup in the layers panel. So your SVG comes in an overall group, and then within that there are these two groups, and one has the scores in it and one has all the cuts in it. So you just click on the name of that first group, it selects everything inside it. Go to your operations menu wherever it is on the version of Design Space that you're using, choose score from the drop down menu, and because there's more than one set here now, we need to ungroup them. I'm using the desktop version for PC, and so for me, ungroup is there at the top of the layers panel. Then select the group underneath that's got all the cut pieces in it, any cuts within them. All we need to do there is ungroup. And thirdly, we select everything on screen. You can do that by just clicking on that remaining group that's still there in your layers panel, or you can use the select all button, or you can drag a box to enclose it. A few different ways. However you do it, once it's selected, ungroup things a third time. So now everything on screen is a separate piece, and you can attach scores to individual pieces. So you're just going to click on canvas somewhere near a piece, drag a box to more or less enclose it, and choose attach, which for me is at the bottom of the layers panel, or I can do Alt A on my keyboard. I'll do that for speed. So again, select it, click attach. Right, so I showed you that selecting scores to individual pieces because it's a really good habit to get into, and I don't like to show selecting a whole group of things and attaching them generally because that's not what you want to do. But I've laid the SVG out like this with these three pieces in a square and these three pieces in a square because actually if you do select that arrangement of shapes and attach them and do the same with those and attach them, they just nicely fit when you hit make it onto 2 sheets of 12 by 12. So you can cut this box from 2 sheets of 12 by 12 using the standard mat, and then we just need a little piece of acetate or PVC sheet, whatever you use for the window. I buy the PVC binder sheets. I get them from Amazon. I use the 230 micron ones. They're really nice and quite cheap. I actually buy mine in A3 size, but I keep all the cut-offs, and so that would do for that little piece there. So Amazon PVC binder sheets, they're brilliant, quite a lot cheaper than acetate at the moment. Okay, so I'm not going to cut that, so I'm just going to go back, and in the, hang on, did I press cancel? I didn't, did I? Cancel. In your instructions, you'll see that there's a little note saying you can actually cut this from A4 if you're a little bit careful. So I'm just going to detach those arrangements we did there for the 12 by 12. And so now we can see that everything's separate again. But what I am going to do is I'm going to attach both inserts together. I'm going to attach both wall pieces together. And then before I hit make it, I'm going to select just the cut piece there on the back. And I'm going to make that one colour. Doesn't matter what colour I make it. And I'm going to select the front. I'm going to the layers panel because the scores are attached, and I need to just select the cut piece so I can change the colour of it. Any colour, it doesn't matter. Right, so now when I hit make it, I can choose 12 by 12, and I'll get 4 12 by 12 mats for the actual box pieces. Where is it? Right. The reason you have to make them different colours, otherwise when you choose 12 by 12 it will put the walls on the same mat as one of these. And what you're aiming for is you're actually going to, this is, by the way, if I haven't already said this, the whole point of this is so you can cut the box from A4, because these pieces, even though they are it says they won't fit on A4, Design Space tells you they won't fit on A4, they actually will. So you're going to do what I did there, change the colour of the back and the front so they end up on a mat on their own. You're going to cut them, aren't you, from whatever you're cutting them from, so it doesn't matter what colour they are. And then you're going to use A4 and you're just going to drop it a couple of millimetres away from that very first white line on your cutting mat, and that'll give you a tiny bit of space more to play with down here, and the pieces will cut nicely from one sheet of A4. So you can either make this box from 2 sheets of 12 by 12 as I showed you originally, dead simply, or if you want to just mess about and do what I just did, you can actually cut it from 4 sheets of A4 as well, if that's all you've got. You can't cut it from letter, sadly. These pieces, the back and the front, they are too long for letter, so if you can't get A4 card, you would have to use 12 by 12. Okay, I think that's all I needed to show you. When you come to cut it or assemble it, if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. As always, I'm happy to help. You do get a PDF of assembly instructions with this, with lots of photographs to show you how to make it. It's a lovely compact box. I hope more of you like it than the person who asked me to make it, especially for them. Just to say, if you ever do want an SVG making, which I think will be popular and other people might buy, you can just buy the very cheap custom listing SVG on the Etsy shop. Talk to me first to make sure it's something that can be done that way, and then you just pay the £5 plus sales tax in your country for that, for an SVG that you've been looking for but you can't find anywhere else, and then I can also sell it on Etsy afterwards. That's different to you actually asking for a really complicated, complex, custom SVG that you don't want anyone else to have. That's a different thing altogether. Okay, so if you need to get in touch, the links to do that are in the description below. You can contact me on Etsy or Facebook, whichever you prefer. And if you've just stumbled across this video and you'd like to buy the SVG, there's a link to do that in the description as well. Thanks a lot. Bye.